All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to respond to a comment that I get semi-frequently on this channel about health being expensive. Sometimes people will reach out, it actually happened somewhat recently, and they'll say something to the effect of, I don't have the funds to live like you, I don't have the resources to be healthy. Guys, what most people don't understand is that I teach one of the most simple, most cost-effective and grassroots health systems on all of YouTube. I have yet to find someone who promotes a health system that's actually cheaper than mine and easier to start doing. So let me start this message, by first off saying that it costs nothing, you guys, to do one of the health practices that I preach about the most, which is grounding, taking your shoes off and going into your backyard, for instance, and just walking on the grass and on the dirt barefoot. Now, preferably, and what I suggest people do is go to a local park or somewhere out in nature, find a good power spot, a spot in nature that speaks to you, that you feel comfortable at, and take your shoes off, clean your skin with the Dr. Kassar skin cleaning solution, preferably, and I have a cost-effective method for making that if you don't want to buy all the ingredients in his recipe. I have a recipe that you can make for under $20 that will last you months. So aside from all of that, find a spot and go walk barefoot on the grass and on the dirt for 15 minutes a day to start out. I do about an hour a day. It costs nothing simultaneously to do the concrete barefoot walking to help realign your posture and open up the vertebral openings. So we've gone over the methods of how that works in the past. I'm not going to be repetitive, but barefoot walking helps realign your posture, especially when you mix grounding and cement walking while barefoot. So that costs nothing. It's absolutely free. It only requires your time and your effort. Now, here's the other thing, you guys. It also costs nothing to do the 4 internal exercises that I preach about on this channel regularly. Those exercises that are completely free are the inner temple exercise, the thoughtlessness exercise, the motionlessness exercise, and the full body relaxation exercise. These exercises will allow you to get a firmer grasp on your mind and exert more control over your mind. They allow you to empty the mind, to reestablish a healthy connection to your inner mind through connecting to your subconscious. That's what the inner temple exercise is for. The motionlessness exercise over time will allow you to calm down the urges of the animal body, the physical body, and it will allow your mind to become the operating system for the body and its urges. I hope that makes sense. I don't have time to get into the full details. I have in prior videos, so consult those videos in my archive if you want to learn more about these 4 exercises. The 4 exercises that I teach, the internal exercises, are the fundamental foundation of my protocol. Because what good is taking a bunch of health foods and doing all this other stuff if at the end of the day your mind still lacks the proper control that you need to be able to navigate through this matrix with power? So I preach a very mental protocol, a very mind power based system that is very easy. So grounding is free. The 4 internal exercises is free, you guys. Going and learning how to run. Most people can't run around their neighborhood without being winded. Running is free. Exercise for the most part is free. If you're going to start cycling, you're going to have to buy a bike. But guys, I love running. I do barefoot running. I do shoed running as well in Vibrams, depending on the terrain. But if you want to learn how to run safely, if you're just getting started, I suggest looking into a free app called C2-5K, Couch to 5K. It will slowly walk you through the steps to build your endurance and allow your muscles and your bones and everything to heal in between runs. And eventually you'll be able to run a 5K, which is, I think, 3.1 miles. Free app. The app is one of those in-store purchases kind of thing. Apps, like once you download it, there's a free version and you can buy add-ons, but I've been using the app, the free version, for weeks now, and it works just fine. Couch to 5K, C2-5K. Free. There's always, when there's a will, there's a way. That's what I'm driving home. My full diet course, which is titled the Life Force Mastery Diet System, which is now available for free on my Patreon page. It's technically not free because if you want to become a patron, it's $5 a month starting. But if you pay $5 a month, and you can cancel at any time, you get access to my full course, which is 3.5 hours. Comes with all the charts, the ebooks, everything. It's now available for as little as $5 a month on my Patreon page. I used to charge for this course, and it did quite well, but with some issues with the playback system on the .com I had, I decided to just put it on Patreon. People will charge up to $500 for courses that long. I see it all the time. I charged $20 for it, and it took me months to put together. I charged in the past. Now it's available for as little as $5. So if you, for instance, decide maybe I won't buy that cup of coffee at Starbucks today. Maybe I'll just buy the a Patreon subscription for $5. I can get a 3.5 hour course with tons of material on how to eat properly, to eat like me. And if you want, you just pay the $5, cancel your subscription, download or grab access to the unlisted YouTube link. It's yours. It's yours. So people want to bitch, oh, just make it free, blah, blah, blah. You guys, my time is valuable as well. So I can't just do all of this stuff for free. I've got bills to pay as well. I try to do everything that I can for free, which is why it's dirt cheap. Everything that I offer is dirt fucking cheap. So it is what it is. It is what it is. That course teaches you how to eat in a very basic fashion. It's all gluten-free, vegetable oil-free. And what you'll learn in that course and what you can learn from my YouTube channel is that the way that I eat is dirt cheap. Some of the healthiest foods on the supermarket shelves are remarkably cheap if you know what to look for. If you know what to look for. You guys, a lot of people who complain about health being expensive, oftentimes if you do a further examination of their lifestyle, they're wasting their money on things that are not essential. They're not investing their money in things that can help them invest in themselves. And when that happens, it's just kind of being a contradictory at the end of the day. The tools are out there. I preach a blue light blocking protocol, and I have for years. It costs $11 on Amazon to buy a pair of Uvex Skyper blue blocking glasses. These will last you a lifetime. They're rugged, they're very well built, and they're cheap. This $11 investment, which you'll never have to purchase again, which will last you a lifetime, if you do my protocol properly, will allow you to block artificial blue light when the sun goes down from going into the photoreceptors. It'll allow you to block these wavelengths of blue light. Now, we've gone over how blue light affects sleep and health and brain health, and it's so crucial to block this stuff. We've gone over this in the past, so I'm not going to be repetitive, but in essence, blue light coming into the photoreceptors from our tablets, our TVs, our devices, our LEDs, etc., when the sun goes down, goes into the photoreceptors and tells your brain to not produce endogenous melatonin. The health consequences of this is drastic, and it's something that not many people are talking about on YouTube. 1 year of being exposed to blue light at the wrong time of day, at night when the sun goes down from our TVs or devices, etc. Just 1 year of that will do severe damage to your brain, unless you're blocking it. If you're blocking it, tricks your brain into thinking the sun's down, even though the blue light's coming in and hitting you, but it's not going into your eyes because the glasses block it. I hope that makes sense. Melatonin is so absolutely crucial to health, and I am not in any way, shape, or form talking about supplemental melatonin, which is pure garbage. It is one of the worst things, in my opinion, to take. Your body, if you put your body in the right situation, and you modulate the lighting systems in your house and wear the glasses and do the protocol, folks, this is one of the number one upgrades for your health. It's $11. It's $11. Minerals are remarkably cheap. You can get a 60-day supply of minerals for under $25. There are cheap budget water filtration options, such as but not limited to filling a pot of water from the tap and leaving it on your countertop overnight. By the time, within a 24-hour period or less, a large amount of the chlorine and the chloramines and other constituents will evaporate out. Is it optimal? No. Is it something? Yes. And something is better than nothing. Again, when there's a will, there's a way. There's also low-budget water filtrations, such as but not limited to Kishu Binchotan charcoal chunks. You can find these online. They're pieces of charcoal made for water filtration, large sticks that have a remarkably large surface area based on how the charcoal is activated. You put them in the water, you let it sit, and they absorb massive amounts of toxins. Is it optimal? In my opinion, no. Is it cheap and does it work? Yes. Again, something is better than nothing. There are low-budget shower filtration options. Culligan made a shower filter that I think was like $24 at one point. It might be more expensive because of all the supply chain garbage going on right now. But it was like $24, and I think it used KDF 55D and some type of activated sand. I think it was called an IHS 100 or an IHS 400. That's me trying to pull a memory out of my mind that's long ago. So forgive me if I'm wrong. If I remember, I'll put a link to that Culligan shower filter in the description box below. But long story short, you guys, when there's a will, there's a way. When there's a will, there's a way. If you're buying food now, if you're able to buy food now, you're able to modulate that and change what you're purchasing and buy healthier options. Grass-fed butter, for instance, is becoming cheaper and cheaper. Potatoes are remarkably cheap. You know, I mean, you can make green juice for cheap nowadays. I've gone over in the past how to make a green juicer for less than $10. You go to a Goodwill store and you buy a used blender. I've seen them there for like $2. You buy a used blender and then you purchase a $3 or $4 nut milk bag for making nut milks. You put your produce in the blender, you add distilled water or filtered water or whatever water you have, you blend the greens or the fruit. You get a bowl, you put the nut milk bag over the bowl, you put the produce that's blended into the bowl, and you squeeze the nut milk bag. Is it optimal? In my opinion, no. Does it work? Yes. I've had to do this in the past multiple times. When there's a will, there's a way, folks. Distilled water, which in my opinion is one of the top 10 healthiest foods, even though it's a fluid, that you can find in the stores. At Walmart, at least in Virginia, a gallon of distilled water is about 85 cents. Is it optimal? No. Does it work? Yes. When there's a will, there's a way. There are tons of options. I've even seen juicers, fully functioning juicers, nice $70, $80, $100 juicers at the Goodwill store for around $10. You ask the people, can I plug this in and see if it works? You buy it, boom, you got yourself a cheap juicer. Again, when there's a will, there's a way. Is it optimal? Not necessarily, but it does indeed work. So there are certain things that are a little bit more expensive that I talk about on this channel, like Shilajit resin, which has gone way up the roof because of all the supply chain nonsense. But I've always on this channel offered backdoor methods for people who can't afford the Shilajit resin in the powders, such as mineral drops, Active Ionic from Omica Organics, Inland Sea Minerals, etc. So I'm currently not in a financial state of abundance where I can afford all the resins and all the stuff that I used to be able to buy. No, I'm not. So I'm doing my backdoor methods. Is it optimal? In this situation, yes. Because when there's a will, there's a way. You've got to do what you've got to do. Long story short. Again, you guys, it's all about not like allowing yourself to feel like you're in a trap. Because when you feel like you're in a trap or when you're bound in servitude to something, it feels like you're in like a situation where there's walls around you when there's technically not. You just have to kind of, you've got to get smarter with your investing, and you've got to get smarter on your mindset and how you're looking at things. That can make a huge change. And that's what the 4 fundamental internal exercises I preach about are for. It helps you expand your mind. Excuse me, that was a word soup. These exercises, which are totally free, can totally change your mindset. That's something that no amount of cucumber juice or shilajit resin is really going to be able to help you do. It might help your body get cleaner, and in doing so help your mind expand. But the 4 inner exercises are literally some of the most important things that I teach, and they're free. The Taoist internal exercises, where you rub your hands together until they get really hot, you lay them over your temples and you envision light going into your head, you rub your body, totally free. The Taoist internal exercises are remarkably beneficial for your health. The 5 animal exercises, etc. You can find a book called The Complete System of Self-Healing by Dr. Stephen Chang for about a penny on Amazon, $3.99 to ship. For a $4 book that's like 200 pages with nothing but, exercises that are totally free. Hear my back crack? I can crack my back if I breathe through my nose properly. But guys, it doesn't cost anything to go down to your local park and do some sprints, to do some push-ups. It doesn't cost anything to learn how to do the reverse breathing techniques that I talk about. It doesn't cost anything. And one of the most beneficial reverse breathing techniques that you can learn is contained within a $5 book that you can buy on Amazon called Vampire's Way by John Kreider. Psychic Self-Defense. The Key to Psychic Self-Defense. I can't remember the exact name of that book. Again, it's by John Kreider, Johnkreiter. Kreiter. I believe that's how you spell his name. Again, it's called Vampire's Way. I have a review video of that book in my video archive. You'll learn how to do reverse breathing techniques for transmuting energy, negative energy, into positive energy. His book, Overcoming the Archon Through Alchemy, which is a gold standard of, it's one of the books that you need to read if you're interested in my work and applying what I teach. Overcoming the Archon Through Alchemy. That's like $6 on Amazon in ebook format. Come on, guys. For the price of a cup of coffee nowadays, you can buy these books. For the price of a cup of coffee nowadays, you can buy 3 or 4 gallons of distilled water. So it's not necessarily that health is expensive. It's more often, that what you're currently doing is too expensive. And I don't want to call people victims, because you're not necessarily a victim for thinking you don't have enough money to get healthy. But guys, there's no more excuses. When there's a will, there's a way. Do you know how many years I struggled where I made less than $100 a month? $100 a month at one point. Being remarkably broke, yet I still figured it out. I still did an hour or 2 a day of grounding. I still cleaned my skin with a modified version of Dr. Kassar's skin cleaning solution, which is remarkably cheap. Cheap vodka, baking soda, magnesium chloride, and sea salt. Put it on cotton balls, clean my skin, get all the crap off, go barefoot walk, get the sun on my skin. You know how many months and months and years I was totally broke? Living on potatoes and white rice, which white rice is not a bad food. Everybody wants to bash white rice. We're going to make a video on that in the near future. Hear my back crack again? I would shop smart on iHerb and get my magnesium with 50% off sales. Get a 240 count bottle of magnesium bisglycinate for $7. Or for a while, I was able on Amazon to buy half-pound tubs of magnesium bisglycinate for $3, $2.98. $2.98. So I bought 4 of them. I now had 2 pounds of high-quality, very bioavailable magnesium bisglycinate for $2.90 a piece. And then I think I had a promo thing, and the shipping was free. It was some companies will charge $40 for 8 ounces of magnesium bisglycinate, or they'll charge $50 to take capsules and put tiny amounts of magnesium bisglycinate in it. They'll charge a ton of money. Buy stuff in powder. That would be another suggestion. Buy stuff in bulk. Buy your ascorbic acid in bulk. 1 pound tubs of ascorbic acid from Now Foods should still be around $15. Do you know how long that will last you? That's one of the best investments that you can make for under $20 is a pound of ascorbic acid. Start with 1 gram a day and then see how your body feels. Again, when there's a will, there's a way. Is all this stuff I'm talking about necessarily optimal? Not necessarily, but again, you got to do what you got to do. And here's the thing. Some of the wealthiest people that preach about health, they're still not doing things like the internal exercises. So money is not necessarily a precursor, or excuse me, money is not necessarily a byproduct of having wisdom, because a lot of the wealthiest people in the world live very destructive lives. In fact, what I've found over the years, you guys, is that being in a financial bind puts you in a situation where you've got to grow your mind and outsmart the system, because now you have less, you appear to have less, but you actually have more. Because when you have less resources to go blow on shit that more often than not, you don't really even need a lot of the stuff people are buying. But when you have less, it causes you to get smarter and find loopholes in the system for growth. I hope that makes sense. So it's like, oh, okay, I don't have all this money right now. Well, I'll go ground myself, clean my skin with the Dr. Kassar skin cleaning solution, and do a bunch of heliotherapy and solar, meditations. I'll go out at 10 p.m. at night at the park when no one's there and do my yoga asanas. I'll do my Taoist internal exercises while I'm standing on the bare ground, letting the full moonlight come into my forehead or my eyes, and I'll do my temple rubbing and all this stuff. Guys, these hands are healing devices. These hands, your hands, are healing devices. And in many ways, shapes, or forms are far more potent than a lot of these herbs and stuff that these teachers are talking about. Your hands, you rub them together until they're red hot. You place them on your forehead, your temples. You rub your organs. Most people call it Reiki. I don't really like that word, but you can touch yourself in a very healing fashion. And to learn more about that, you really should pick up Dr. Stephen Chang's book, The Complete System of Self-Healing. Again, a penny and $3.99 to ship. Dirt cheap. You can find a PDF of it for free on pdfdrive.com. A lot of the books that I talk about, you can find for free on pdfdrive.com. There you go, free. You have access to the internet or a smartphone, you now have a full library of stuff that you can read, reading materials that can help you grow. I also have a lot of these PDFs available on my Patreon page, which again, $5 a month. They're all categorized in what I call the Library of Strength and Wisdom. I created a tab on my Patreon page called the Library of Strength and Wisdom, where I put my favorite books. Some of the books on there are remarkably hard to find and remarkably expensive in physical format, but I have them on the Library of Strength and Wisdom, which again is a subsection of my Patreon page. For, you click the link, you download them to your device, you can keep them forever. Even if you just want to sign up for the Patreon page and download all the material and grab the links to my videos and then cancel in less than a month. I mean, technically you can do that. You can go onto my Patreon for $5 a month, grab all the unlisted videos to my videos that I post, put them in a drive, and then download all my books, or all the books on there, all the material. Again, that sounds kind of silly that I just said that you can do that, because it's a kind of a form of pirating, but who gives a fuck? I mean, come on. I already know people do that, and it's okay. I would probably do that in some situation, especially if I was broke. It's like, okay, $5 for a Patreon membership. I'll just go in, sign up for it, cancel the subscription, and still have a month left of viewing time. And I'll just grab all the links, download everything. I just want you to have the information at the end of the day. I just want you to have the information at the end of the day. And you might say, well, make it all free, you guys. Well, like $190 I make a month on Patreon right now really does help me. I'm in a financial bind as well, but I just told you how to download it all for basically less than $5 or $6. It's $5. By the time I get the money and they take percentages, I get like $4.30. But again, it helps. Thank you for your support. But guys, again, distilled water is less than $1 in Virginia. I think it might be over $1 here in California at Walmart. It's in plastic. It's not optimal, but it's a hell of a lot better than tap water. It's a hell of a lot better than, taking tap water and putting it on in your sink in a pot overnight and letting the stuff evaporate, because distilled water, even when it's store-bought, is far cleaner than most reverse osmosis systems, even expensive fucking reverse osmosis systems. We know this because we've done total dissolved solids and parts per million tests on very well-reputed reverse osmosis systems. We've tested the water that you can get at Whole Foods from their RO systems, local stores with TDS meters, and then we've taken, there's my back again. We've taken distilled water from Walmart and checked it, and it's far cleaner. Tastes cleaner. But, you do what you need to do. Yoga's cheap, or yoga's free. You know how many Kundalini yoga classes you can find on YouTube for free? I mean, technically it's not free because you're using a phone that you're paying a bill for to access wireless that you're paying for. But still, if you have access to it now, take advantage of it. Download all this stuff, create an archive, and then cancel the subscriptions. And just like you have a system, guys, there's always a way. You've got to get out of this poverty mindset. Because what I've learned over the years is that God wanted me to financially struggle, and I'm still struggling. Because when you go through struggle, you build character. Didn't Miranda Tate say that? Or no, Talia al Ghul said that. Who is the daughter of Ra's al Ghul from the Batman series. Talia al Ghul, I think it was her that said this, that suffering builds character. It does. When you suffer, you lack one thing, but you gain so much more. Now, I'm not promoting a suffering lifestyle. I'm just trying to say that whatever situation that you're in right now, you guys, learn to enjoy it. Learn to thrive within it. Be like a chameleon and blend your colors and adapt to your environment. Because if you can't adapt to this environment, what makes you think you're going to be able to adapt to something worse? And they're trying to build a dystopia where things are worse for you guys. So thrive. Get out of this weakness mindset where everything feels hopeless and realize that it's all good. Now, obviously, some people are in situations that are require a hell of a lot more attention, and they are suffering to a much greater extent. So I'd like to try to help. If you're in that situation, go into my description box below, grab my email, shoot me a message, make the subject in capitals, "I'm struggling, please help," so I see it. I get a lot of emails. The subject is everything. The subject that you put in the email if you're trying to contact me. I'd like to help. I really would. Because guys, we've been under this new world order beast system for far too long, and it just fucks our minds up. It makes us feel hopeless. It makes us feel like we're trapped. It makes us feel like nothing's working in our favor, and it's really poisonous and disgusting. And shame on the people who erected this dystopia. Shame on these people these 1%ers who have created this nasty fucking world that's just totally predatory when it doesn't have to be this way. So we've got to find ways or loopholes around their bullshit system. And what you'll find is once you start growing in this, if you're in a poverty situation or a lack, and you start to do the inner work and take some of the protocols I talk about and actually implement them, what you'll find is that you start growing exponentially. And you start to thrive in your situation. And as you thrive, doors will open up for you by default. Because when you start putting the work in, naturally, especially if you're doing the inner exercises, doors will open and opportunities will open for you that will get you what you need. Maybe you start doing the inner temple exercise and you tell your subconscious in the inner temple that I need a water filter, I need this, I need help. And then suddenly, in some weird way, you get a phone call from a neighbor or something. Hey, we just got this water filter delivered to us from Amazon, and when we tried to return it, they said they didn't want it back, which is something that Amazon does often. It's very strange. Do you want it? We're not going to use it. Well, sure, I want it. You can materialize things a lot easier than people think, but you have to be open to being able to materialize it in a way outside of how you expect it to materialize. I hope that makes sense, because when you seek to materialize something and you only want it to come in one way, oftentimes there's easier ways for your subconscious mind to materialize it that are outside of your rigid desire to get it one way. Hope that makes sense. Free the mind, which is what the 4 inner exercises are for. Freeing the mind, guys. Freeing the mind. It doesn't really cost much to take an ice cold shower, which they're so beneficial. It doesn't really cost much to find a clean body of natural water around you, depending on where you live at least, and start doing cold water submersions, start swimming in clean natural bodies of water. That is one of the most potent things ever, because natural bodies of water, what are they full of? They're full of dirt, and they're full, ladies and gentlemen, of aquatic life, plants, fish, etc. But there's also massive amounts of minerals and rocks in these natural bodies of water. It's a gem elixir, and we've gone over gem elixirs in the past, crystal elixirs. Natural bodies of water are fucking teeming with crystal energy, with minerals, etc. You know, but those are dirty. You don't want to swim in natural bodies of water, blah, blah, blah. Just shower in the chlorine and the disinfectant byproducts, the algicides, cobalt, fluorine, hexafluorosilicic acid, etc. We've got to get out of these bullshit mentalities where we're always afraid of germs and the invisible and all this nonsense. Live your fucking life. Take your shoes off. Anyways, you guys, that just begins to scrape the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that we can talk about. I want to wrap this one up because I need to get going. I love you all, and may peace be with you.